So static balance is what people normally think of when we refer to balance. And this is simply being able to be steady and not moving, okay? So static balance is literally just when you're standing still, how steady can you be? Very important part of balance because we do spend a lot of time like this, standing in line, etc., doing whatever we need to do. But it's not the end all. So a few ways that we can improve our static balance is literally just standing in general. And this seems very silly, but if you think about it, there are some people, and I've seen this firsthand, who even just standing in place is extremely difficult. So whenever you feel bad about your balance, if you can stand in place, give yourself a pat on the back because this is something that not a lot of people can do, especially once you get to those older ages. From there, we can move into what I call like a tandem progression. And you have probably, if you've gone to physical therapy at all, might have heard of this. Another way to look at it is doing half step holds. So we can start by bringing our feet together. When you bring your feet together, it's going to narrow your base a little bit. And anytime you narrow your base, it makes your balance a little bit trickier. You might already feel a little bit more wobbly in this position. Again, very small change, but your balance greatly increased in what you need to be able to hold this. From here, we can stagger our stance a little bit. So this would be a semi-tandem or what I call a half-step hold. Again, feet are going to be together, but we're still very, very unbalanced from here. And the interesting thing about this too, it's a very small change, very subtle. So if this is too much, you can even go back and do like a quarter step. It's all relative. So when you're working at these at home, you can kind of progress and like say, hey, I'm doing quarter step holds, etc. Maybe next week I'm going to try half step, forward, forward, forward. The hardest variation of this will be a full heel to toe step, where basically your feet are going to be straight and in line. This is a good time to check and make sure you have your chair in a good place for you, because this is when it can get wobbly. Probably will get wobbly. And when you're doing these two, always a good thing. Once you do them for like 30 seconds to a minute, you then flip sides, making sure you get equal balance work. You'll probably notice, depending on what foot is dominant, and maybe if there's a foot or a leg that has more pain, one side will likely be easier, potentially because you've been compensating it over the years. So very, very good time to make sure you are getting equal work. And although it seems subtle too, you're actually getting a decent amount of leg strengthening and mobility through just a simple position like this, okay? If you feel your body moving around, that means all the muscles in your body are working to keep you from moving around, all right? So static balance, super simple, good starting point. I'll actually show you one more drill with the balance pad here. And really simple. If you don't have a balance pad and you want some stuff to do at home for improving your static balance, these are a great thing. These ones are actually cool because they Velcro together, so you can either make it a big one or rip it apart. There'll be two smaller ones, so depending on if you want to travel and stuff. I'll give each of you, I'll actually demonstrate with one, and then you can kind of just mess around with this. You can play with it and then pass around. Lots of different drills you can do with this from a static balance standpoint. Obviously, if it's in a full pad, you can just stand on it like before. And the second you stand on anything that's unstable, you can even use something like a pillow or towel stacked up at home. You're already going to feel it. The ground is ungiving, and anything that's ungiving is going to be a little bit tougher on your balance. I have a Special Olympics athlete I work with. When we go anywhere, if she's like traveling through even mud, she has very, very poor balance, and that little bit of unsteadiness, I can very, very easily see it with her. So it seems very subtle, but it can make a big difference. From there, you can do all the variations we just did. So I don't have a lot of space on here, but a half step hold. You can even do full. This is really going to test me. Full heel to toe. Obviously, you'd probably have the full thing for that one. And yeah, a few variations. So I guess I'll pass this one over now and we'll try to converge in the middle. So maybe just take like 30 seconds to just kind of mess around with the pillow, or excuse me, the balance pad. And if you're interested, I can get you guys links or just show you where to get those afterwards. So I guess since those are going around, I'll show you one more static balance drill that I really like, and it is the tree pose. So tree pose is very simple. It will start with your feet in kind of a T position like this. And you don't have to do it if you're doing it on the balance pad. This is just to give people who've already had the balance pad something else to do. Tree pose, your feet will be kind of in a T. And then from here, the next step is bringing your heels slightly off the ground. Your base is a little less stable. You can then go even more, a little less stable. Yes, about 80% of my leg. Is your heel touching your other leg? Correct. Yep. Very slightly. It's not digging into it, so you don't want it to be uncomfortable, but just enough so it kind of like catches your balance and keeps you upright. It's not easy. It's almost like walking onto ice for the first time if you've ever ice skated. You're like, oh yeah, that's not as easy as people make it look. So yeah, and then from there you can just keep riding up to your toe is then just on the ground. And then if you're really comfortable, you can even bring your full foot off the ground to where we call like a full tree pose. This would be pretty advanced. Again, make sure, thank you. Make sure, did you want to try it, Gary? Oh, I'm sorry. kept them off. Yeah. Super simple. If you don't want to buy one of these, no problem. Towels or pillows at home will mimic those very well.